You're here. I or Melanie has approached you personally and have asked you to be a part of a brand new initiative that we're starting here in YX. And we did it a couple years ago before I was here, small groups. But it was done a little differently, and I just want to share a bit of my heart and why I feel like it's important. We're thankful to minister to hundreds of students on a week-to-week basis. We have at YX that come between 400 to 500 students on a week-to-week basis. That's pretty awesome when you include middle school, high school, young adults, and we're excited for that. But it's one thing to have a lot of sheep, and it's another thing to have a lot of shepherds. And just to be honest, we don't have a lot of shepherds. We have a lot of good leaders, and I'm thankful for the team that God's given us. We've got Mel, we've got John, we've got Pastor Jonathan, Pastor Peter, and then we have all of our leaders who operate our different ministries, like Follow Up and New Life with Crystal, and middle school with Gadi and Rad Production, but shepherds, people who are in the lives of people. That's what we lack so much. It is no worse feeling than coming to church and getting lost in church. Church is the one place lost people come to be found. But it kind of flips the script when people come to church to be found and get lost because there's so many people. And I cannot be the pastor of 400 people. It's impossible. And so what I need are shepherds who would be willing to shepherd with me and really own. And if you're taking notes, and I would hope that you would take notes on your phone or something like that, because we're going to touch some stuff today, that you would own. There's two words I want you to really leave here with, which is own and chase. Own and chase. Own and chase. There are kids in our youth group who need to be owned and who need to be chased. Owned and chased. I own 2 kids. Their names are Justice and Zane. Those are my kids. I'm responsible for them. I'm going to make sure that they eat. I make sure that they have shelter. I own them. And if something were to happen to them, I would chase them. Ironically, just sharing a story with Hector and Lourdes, they lived, 8 miles? How far is that away? 8 miles? How far is that from the accident, you guys?
About 25 miles.
It's like 4 miles.
Okay.
4 or 5 miles.
Okay, they were about 5 miles from their daughter Nisha when she got into a car accident this past Tuesday? Monday? It's past Monday. And they didn't have a car because Hector had 1 car and Nisha had the car that got into the accident. So they were home alone with just their cell phone. They were on the phone with Nisha when she got into her car accident. It was a really bad car accident. It was a hit and run. The guy just kept going. And while they're on the phone and they find the accident happened, they're not going to call a cab. They don't have time. Hector's out. So, what do? They run 4 or 5 miles from their home to where the site of the accident happened.
Made it in 20 minutes.
And they made it there in 20 minutes. And he said, we talk about how Nisha, the miracles that Nisha survived, and then Hector's like, no, the miracles that I made it there in 20 minutes. I was reading 1 Kings today, and the Bible says that the Holy Spirit gave Elijah strength, and he outran the chariots. And that was you guys. The Spirit gave you strength, and you ran. And so I think that's a beautiful...
I'm sorry, what I add, she needs knee surgery.
What's that?
She needs knee surgery.
Who?
Lourdes.
From that run, or before the run?
Yeah.
The guy just wrapped it up, and you made it. That I think is I think that's a beautiful image of what it means to chase after the ones that you own. And I don't know that people own it. I don't know that we own and chase our kids. I think they're just kind of kids. But I think our youth ministry needs needs leaders who will own and chase a group of people. And so I want to read you a part. It's a very long poem. But I want to read you a part of a poem that really ministered to me. It's called The Hound of Heaven. The Hound of Heaven. It's a dog, a hound, if you don't know that. The Hound of Heaven. It goes like this. I fled him down the nights and down the days. I fled him down the arches of the years. I fled him down the labyrinth ways of my own mind and in the midst of tears. I hid from him and under running laughter. Up vested hopes I sped, and shot precipitated. Adown titanic glooms of chasm fears from those strong feet that followed after. And it's much longer and it continues to go. But the image of the poem is that, I don't know if you've ever had a dog and you've ever taken a dog out to the park and you've thrown the stick and they run and they go and then they run after you. And how fast you run, the dog's going to keep on running. And it's going to chase you until it grabs you and jumps on you. And the image that the author is giving is that God is the hound of heaven who chases after people and runs to people, and then when he catches them, he jumps on people and licks the people. I don't know, but he just jumps on people and embraces with love and intimacy on the people. And I think we need leaders. We need to break our youth group up. We need to break YX up into small groups of people that have one hound, one shepherd, one person who's chasing them, making sure that they're here on Wednesday night, and not that just they're here, but that they're getting fed and ministered to and loved and blessed. And that's you guys. And that's why you're here, to be the hound of heaven in their life, to be the Jesus that chases after them. There are two girls, one who is a part of our city and one who's a part of our youth ministry, who you guys know them. We talk about them often. One is Gwen, who is one person that we love at YX. If you don't know her, she's constantly battling with insecurity, constantly battling with, I've lost track of how many times she's tried to take her life, to be quite honest. And we get the text messages and we get the calls, and we all know what's going on, but it can be so much. Somebody's got to be in her life. People like Gwen, people who are going through a struggle, people who are battling something. Someone needs to be in their life. And yes, they have the parents, but in the parent, it's hard. Even being a parent, someone needs to help the parent be in their life. Girl, and then we talked about Alana, and Alana's a young girl who took her life a couple weeks ago here at a middle school, and she wrote on her, I forgot what it was, Tumblr or her blogger or something. She wrote on her social media network. She said at the end, and this was before she took her life, she said, "The demons are screaming loud, and I'm tired of fighting." And then she took her life. And it's like, if the demons are screaming loud, is there anybody who's willing to scream louder? Is there anybody who's willing to drown out the voices of demons with the voice of the Holy Spirit that says you're called, you're loved? There's somebody has a plan for your life. Because we all have demons, but what has helped me has been the people in my life who have screamed louder than the demons, who have drowned out their voice with hope. And so that's you again. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's why we need you. I need you to be a shepherd, a pastor without the title. That's what I need you to be, a shepherd in the lives of a small group. Some of you are going to have groups of 8. Some of you are going to have groups of 5 or 6. Some of you are going to have groups of 3 or 4 right now. The groups will get bigger as we go on. But own those kids, and as kids jump into your group, own those kids too. Be responsible for them. So pretty much your responsibility breaks down into 3 areas. One is to facilitate a small group time during regular YX evenings, Wednesday night evenings, every 4 to 6 weeks. So at the end of every sermon series, we'll have squad night. By the way, we're calling them squads. We got the idea from Faith Assembly, and so we like it, so we took it. So squad night. So every one of you guys are going to lead a squad, and you're going to lead that squad group on a Wednesday night. So you don't have to take another day out of your week. You're already coming to church on Wednesday. So that Wednesday night, that one Wednesday night every 4 to 6 weeks, you would lead a squad group. But that's not the only thing that you would do. It's not just a once a month thing. I would love for you to communicate in any way possible, whether that be through Twitter, Instagram, text message, phone call. You will have the number of the person that's are in your groups. I would love for you to communicate with them at least once a week and just send them a text. How you doing? Like that, just that. How you doing? Preferably on maybe a Tuesday night, just to remind them that church is Wednesday. I don't want you to be Wednesday police. Are you coming to church on Wednesday? You better come to church on Wednesday because I'm watching. But I want you to keep an eye out for them. That's the thing. 170 to 200 kids come just to the high school service on Wednesday night. If one person's missing, I don't know. I want to be the kind of youth group. Wouldn't it be cool if we could all be the kind of youth group where if one person was missing, we noticed? That would be special. That if one person was missing, we noticed. And we said, bro, where were you? I missed you. I didn't see you. That's what I want you to be there for. So if you could keep an eye out, see if those kids are coming throughout the month. If they're not there, give them a call. I missed you on Wednesday. What it feels like to be missed. There's another kid. He goes to Freedom. What's his name, Ruben? He goes to Freedom, Kevin. Kevin goes to, it was 6 months that he had not been at youth group because he was just wilding out. And the first day he came back after 6 months, and I know Kevin because Kevin and I have talked. I went up to Kevin, I said, bro, I missed you. His first words to me were, you don't know how good it feels to be missed. People really crave relationship. You don't know how good it feels to be missed. But where was I 6 months ago? When it was 4 months, or it was 4 weeks, or 5 months ago, when 4 weeks he wasn't there. I had to wait to see him to remind him. But if he could have got that call 5 months ago, hey man, we missed you, we could have saved 5 months of trauma in his life. You know what I'm saying? So it's being in their life, missing them, making sure that if they're there, they miss. And the last thing is just to just be there. To just be there. Be there for them. Be there for them. And in their lives. We preached that message last Wednesday. To be a family, I must be faithful and be there. I got to be there for them. So, that being said, that's kind of the heart. If you're here and you're a leader, it's because you kind of already know a lot of these things. But I want to give you some really quick, some small group tips for you that I think will help. So my plan, I know you're not going to be able to see this in the back. I'll just go ahead and read it. My plan was to screen in there, but I forgot that we weren't in there. We were in here. So your biggest assignment for the whole evening is be friendly, friendly, friendly. Act as a thermostat instead of a thermometer. You guys know the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer? A thermometer reads the temperature. A thermostat sets the temperature. And you got to read the temperature in your room. And if it's not going the way it's going in your squad, you got to change the temperature of the room. You got to change the atmosphere. Don't be a victim of it. Set it. Okay? Control and create a climate of warmth, fun, and friendship, even if it feels awkward. And it will feel awkward. Okay? Secondly, when your squad wraps up, take the time to hang out with students. That relationship building time is really important. Consider asking a few of your students to help clean up your meeting area. So what's going to happen on our typical Wednesday night, squad night, is we're going to do 15 minutes of worship, which is abbreviated from the 20. We're going to do announcements, offering, all that right in the middle, instead of the end like we do now. Then we're going to do 15 minutes of sermon. Once the sermon's done, we break out into squad groups. This first Wednesday is so crucial because it's really the squads figuring out who you are and where your spot's going to be. At the end of this training session, we're going to go to the Peter Ferrand, and each of you guys are going to pick your spot. You're going to claim your small group spot. I want to tell you right now, we don't have enough space. Okay? We don't have enough space in the sanctuary. We don't have enough space in the cafeteria. We don't have enough space in the outlet. Some of y'all might have to sit outside and set your group outside on the grass, chilling outside or in the parking lot or something. Parking lot's probably not a good idea, but the sidewalk, grass area, we're just gonna take over the church. Wherever you want to set up your small group, set it up. Okay, just be conscious of noise, be conscious of distractions, be conscious of weather, be conscious of oncoming traffic. Be conscious of those things. But you're gonna pick where you want your group to set up. Every Saturday, before a small group night, squad night, you're going to get an outline emailed to you. That outline is going to be more or less what the preacher's preaching on Wednesday, and also 4 questions, 3 to 4 questions. One question is going to be an icebreaker question that we'll give you, and it'll be something funny that you can ask your group. You always want to start off the squad night with a funny question, icebreaker question. So I do it in my classes even with my students. I'll ask a question. I'll be like, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And we'll go around and why, and then we'll go. If you could be any Disney character, who would it be and why? We're in Orlando, so everybody knows Disney. Whatever. We'll have different questions like that. We wanted to have that for you today. We won't, but we'll get an email to you, hopefully by today, if not tomorrow. And then you'll have 2 or 3 questions after that that'll be deep questions, and they'll always be open-ended. Okay? So that's how it'll work. You'll always get the Saturday before emailed to you an outline of what's being preached and kind of where the questions are. So look over that so you can have an idea more or less. All right. I want to talk to you about quilts, and then we'll wrap up. Quilts. Everybody say quilts.
Quilts.
Quilts is an acronym for the way to run a squad. For the way to run a squad, okay? Something I came up with after thinking about it. And I like acronyms because they're easy to remember. And so quilts. Quilts provide covering. Quilts provide protection. Quilts provide security. Quilts provide warmth. And that's what you want your small group to feel like. You want your small group, your squad, to feel like It's 20 degrees outside, but you've got a big quilt on, and you're just warm on that quilt, and you want to be there. Okay, you don't want to leave. You know that feeling in the morning when you don't want to get out the sheets? That's what you want it to feel like at the end of your squad. Everybody's like, oh, we got to finish? I don't want to finish. I want to stay here. And you're like, you got to go. But yeah, you want that. You want that, okay? So quilts, it's an acronym. First starts with Q. You want to ask questions. Ask questions. We're going to give you those questions, but in order to do squads, you got to ask questions. You can't just speak, then it'd be questions, because questions say it's about you, it's not about me. Questions spur on conversation. Questions, questions, questions. When I'm counseling people, every piece of advice that I have is turned into a question.